What's up, y'all? Will here, coming back for a new episode of the Turkey Posse, powered by HuntStand. On this week's episode, Josh is headed down to the Deep South with good friends of his, Alex Porter and Jesse Coulter, in hopes of putting a southern bird down on the ground. Now, the South is known for having some of the toughest turkey hunting in the country. And what these guys find out in these back-to-back hunts from Mississippi to Georgia is that these birds are not going to play nice and give them a run for their money. But before we get to today's episode, I want to make sure you got the HuntStand app downloaded on your phone. We've got the free version, and then if you want to unlock all the powerful features, upgrade to Pro. It's got everything from property info, detailed map layers, weather, and more to go chase after birds this spring. Now let's go get out in the field with these guys as we watch these birds give them a run for their money.
Well, guys, we're just riding down a dirt road, arriving to the location. We spot about a dozen turkeys and looks like 2 longbeards out there, so it's a good start for the afternoon.
This field right here, and we're hunting this whole little property right there.
Okay, in the woods part.
Yeah, we got woods. It's cut over. There's some grown-up trees right now. We got a bunch of planted pines and nesting area all over
water
there.
right there, a little bit of roost.
Let's get down here and get a game plan, and let's get after them.
Y'all are wanting to camp out, my suggestion would be right over there. Okay? Flat ground over in there.
Yes.
This, that, and another. In the morning, they're either gonna be right straight ahead, or they're gonna be in the corner down there. My suggestion.
We just got into Mississippi here about a couple hours ago. Already spotted some turkeys. Met with our connection here who got us on this property, and he had some ideas about where we might find some turkeys in the morning, but we're gonna go scout a few other spots, see what we can put to bed tonight. Just got my turkey gun sighted in for the first time this year. Switched to the Avian X Crusher choke, so definitely wanted to test again to make sure everything was legit. Made a few adjustments here. I'm shooting a red dot, shooting a Rival Optics red dot. Nice handy little micro sight right here, reflex style, mounted right on the rib of the shotgun, and I'm ready to go kill a turkey.
I was about to take my pants off.
All right, it's Wednesday, March 29, down here in Mississippi, just about starting to break daylight. Season's been open down here for several weeks now. Just arrived yesterday. Long day, about a 20-hour day. Got up at 2:30 in the morning, didn't end up going to bed until about 11 p.m., but got some good sleep under us here in camp. Rolled in here yesterday and saw some turkeys. Not too far off this property that we have here. We have access to this permission property that's only about 60 acres, and then we've got a bunch of public land around here. So we're gonna start here, kind of going in blind on this permission property, see what these turkeys are gonna do. Hopefully we can get on them right away in the morning. Otherwise we're gonna run out to some public land, so stick with us.
Jesse and I have been finding lots of good sign. Josh really hasn't been keeping up with finding any good sign, but right now we got some birds gobbling a couple hundred yards over here, so we're gonna try and push down to this corner, get set up, maybe throw out Henrietta here, see if we can pull those gobs in, and hopefully we got a redhead on the dead deck today, and we're doing a little dancey dance here in about 30-45 minutes, so stay tuned.
It's about 8 a.m., still early. This morning was, I wouldn't say fully a bust. We did hear some gobbling, but as we suspected, most of the birds were off the property, and it doesn't sound like they're coming this way anytime soon. We're gonna pack up here, go grab some coffee, and probably head out and grind on some public land all day.
These are some tracks from one of the first turkeys, when they actually became turkeys, when they transferred over from being dinosaurs. I mean, this thing is a little bit old, but it proves that we're probably at least prehistorically in the right spot. Sure enough, we were just about to bail out of here. The sunlight picked up a little bit. We came into a little bit different habitat type. It's kind of more greened out in here. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but we just struck our first gobbler. But he's walking away from us, so I'm gonna mark where I think he is in HuntStand. We're gonna try to do a J-hook around to get in front of him.
She didn't drag him back to us, so back on the trail, go grab some lunch, head to a new spot. We got this one bookmarked in case we need to come back later. At least we know there's turkeys in here, and we kind of have a general idea of how this place works now, so at least we got a fallback. Wouldn't want to call this a plan A, but there are some turkeys in here. I just think they've been pressured a lot, so back onto it. As much as I hate to say it, we are having to roll out of Mississippi 0 for 3 on tags filled. And before we get out of here, I just want to talk about something real quick that's been a big discussion in the turkey hunting community, and that's the concern over declining populations of turkeys in the southeastern United States. This has been well identified by turkey biologists and turkey hunters, and it's something that they're actively working on right now to try to figure out answers to why the turkey populations seem to be declining. And I feel like we might have got a taste of that where we've been hunting this week. So one of the ways that you can help support the research that is critical to make sure that turkeys continue to thrive here in the Southeast is by supporting the National Wild Turkey Federation. They're pumping in tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to the research that is required to figure out what is going on with turkey populations. Is it predators? Is it habitat? Is it weather patterns? Is it disease? Is it overhunting? Do we need to reduce bag limits? All these questions need to be answered, but they need to be answered scientifically, and the only way to do that is through real research backed by money from people like you. And a good way to do that easily is to support the National Wild Turkey Federation. So we got to jump on the road here. We got a 7-hour drive to Georgia. We got to be there for opening morning. That's why we're rolling out of Mississippi right now. We don't just have our tail tucked between our legs. We got to get to Georgia because it's opening day. We got some cool hunting lined up there. And before we get to Georgia, while we're on this long drive, we're going to bring you all back to Minnesota from last year, where we had a great turkey hunt with a great turkey population. Jesse and Alex both joined me up there. That's my home state. We had a great hunt. So let's roll there while we roll to Georgia. See you in a bit. Got some friends coming in tomorrow from Georgia in the morning, and we're going to be hunting up here for the next 2.5, 3 days. So I've just been up here doing some preliminary scouting, looking for birds, seeing what they're doing, see what they're acting like, and also set up camp and just got everything prepared so we can have a productive trip up here. But I've seen so many turkeys. I've seen definitely over 20 gobblers in the last 24 hours just out and about. So they'll be here in the morning, and we'll be heading up here late morning tomorrow to start our hunt. We're off to a pretty good start. We got into some birds on the field, and for some reason they got weird on us and they didn't want to commit. But a lot of turkeys around, and trying to catch some on the way back to roost now. I've been watching this gobbler on this field the last 2 nights, and he's out there again, heading back to where I think he's going to roost with a couple of hens. So we're going to go see if we can wait him out. I can see his fan. He's probably about 65. If he gets in his window with that the second he is, I'm gonna shoot him. Yeah. You gonna have a clear lane? Yeah, if he comes to the right, I am. He will. Tell me when you're gonna shoot him. Don't move. There he is. You see him? Just tell me when he's in range. He's in range. Yeah, I'll have a shot. Good
Yes,
job,
sir!
buddy.
Let's go! Woo!
Hell yeah, baby!
Well, I jumped the gun on the first one, a little too far. Josh did an amazing job getting this other one back in here, man. Come right around the swamp where it lays down this field, and right for a fly up, man, we got it done. So I couldn't thank Josh more. And beautiful hunt, awesome bird, awesome place. What a hunt.
Boy, good shot. Atta boy.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Man, well, we got on a couple birds this morning. You know, it was a good morning. Just couldn't get a shot off on some other property, so we decided to get a little breakfast lunch break and hit it back up. We were driving down, looked over on one of our properties, saw a big tom out in that field over there, so we snuck in behind, hoping that we could call him in. No such luck with that. Been here about an hour and a half. And you know, about 35 minutes ago, we just hear them start hammering. 3 of them came in right from over here, got in to about 45 yards, pulled the hammer on them. That's the result right there.
We made it to Georgia last night. Got ourselves some good rest, much needed rest. And gonna go over the game plan here with Jesse, but I'm looking forward to it. I've never hunted turkeys in Georgia, so opening morning, this kind of stuff dreams are made of.
All right, here we go. We're going to park probably at the campsite a little bit. Here we got a good starting point. Start listening this morning. They could be a lot of different places. I'm hoping on this, maybe on this branch or this clear cut by this creek bottom, or we got some options in the back on the hardwood drains. There's 2 different branches of creek water running through this place. It's about 200 acres. So we have a lot of options. So hopefully they're gobbling good this morning on opening day. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good morning as far as weather-wise until about 1 or, between noon and 1 and a little bit of rain. But it's only supposed to rain between 12 and 2, so even after that, if we don't get it done early this morning, I think we'll have a good afternoon as well. So everything's looking up to be all right for the most part.
Hear any wild turkey gobblers?
Not yet. They should start gobbling here in the next 10 minutes or so. Let's get down here in the middle. It may just take them a minute to get going this morning.
Neither of us can remember the last time we've had an opening morning without any turkey gobbling, and there has been 0. We have not heard a single turkey yet. Very frustrating to say the least, but that said, because it has been so long since we have had an opening morning without turkey gobbling, that means we were just due for it. This is turkey hunting, this happens. So we're probably just gonna bounce around and do a bunch of blind setups, because if the birds aren't talking, you move around a bunch, you're probably just gonna bump them. Eventually, you set up in the right spot, they're probably gonna come walking by. It's not the ideal way to hunt them. I hate deer hunting turkeys, but sometimes it's just the way you gotta do it. So we're just gonna keep on pressing on.
We're back out this afternoon hunt. Didn't go so hot this morning. Weather's not been ideal. Super windy. No gobbles. Weather looks like it's going to move on out of here. Hopefully we can get on one this afternoon and kind of sit and wait and hopefully strike one up as we go.
It wasn't what we were looking for, but that was a nice show, especially after all the struggling we've been doing to be able to finally see something with a beard, something with a gobble. Doesn't sound like they drug anything else in with them. So hopefully something shows up. This seems like a pretty good spot.
In the corner. There's another one in the corner. I like where he's at. Got a few gobbles. Two seen to be right across the road on the neighbor's property. We got one not too far from us. He's only gobbled once. Then we sent another gobble at the back end of the property, so it's off to a good start. We'll see what happens.
Are you on him? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, but there you go. I'm on him. I'm on him. I can't see him. See him across. Ready? Let's go, baby. Hardest turkey hunt of my life. Wow! Second day of our Georgia turkey hunt. It is April 2nd, 2023. And even though it's only our second day in Georgia, this is actually technically like our 5th or 6th day on this hunt, because I came down to hunt with these guys. We hit Mississippi first and then we came to Georgia. But we have just been getting our butts kicked this entire time. A combination of hunting pressure, some opportunities falling through with some access that we had, and we just had to scramble to try to put things together day by day, hour by hour. And then on top of that, I think where we're at with the breeding season down here right now, I think it's probably peak breeding, and I think there are a lot of gobblers running around most of the day with harems of hens. I think there's a lot of hens that still need to be bred. And the reason I say that is just because there's gobbling on the limb, but once they hit the ground, we haven't been able to scratch up a gobble to save our lives during the day. And usually that means that the gobblers are probably tied up with hens that need to be bred. For the setup, it's really all about running and gunning and trying to strike a hot bird, or just sitting in an area where you think turkeys are bound to show up at some point, and you wait till that period of the late morning when they might start firing up and gobbling again when they separate from their hens. In this case, I think that's exactly what happened. We heard a gobbler on the roost this morning. Jesse knew where it was. We pinpointed him on HuntStand, and we actually pinpointed all the birds we heard on HuntStand. And that's a really good thing to do, because especially this time of year, a little like earlier, middle of the season, you know, you're gonna wanna run and gun during the day,
And you're going to want to revisit some of those spots, some of those areas where you struck gobblers right away in the morning. In this case, that's exactly what happened. We made a big circle around the property. We struck the gobbler that we had heard earlier this morning, got him fired up again, and within 2 or 3 gobbles, we had him coming in and shotgun range. So it has been a success here in Georgia, even though it's been a grind. When you're out there this season, make sure you stick with it.
Before we go today, we just want to thank our partners over at the National Wild Turkey Federation for supporting the Turkey Posse as well as the conservation of the wild turkey in North America. If you're interested in finding out more and becoming a member of the NWTF, head to nwtf.org today. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Turkey Posse powered by HuntStand, and we'll see you on the next one.